I am not an atheist, but sometimes I can be a skeptic. And this one fact that remains is why I'm a skeptic, is because Satan has been around for 6,000 plus years. 6,000 plus years. He committed the unbelievable, grave act of getting two people to rebel against God, as the story goes. And I don't know if you can take the Genesis narrative as figurative or literal, whatever you want to do. It's obviously the fundamentalist groups, it's literal. The thing is, though, have you ever thought and pondered? This could make you a skeptic on certain things, but it certainly does me, because 6,000 plus years, and this individual, the devil, God's chief enemy, still talks to this. Well, not doesn't talk to him, but there's accounts in the book of Job where it talks about he comes about in God's presence, and God says to Job, where have you been coming from, and where have you been? And obviously God, being all powerful, knows exactly where he was been, but he just raises the question, like, kind of a rhetorical question. But it's really interesting to think about and ponder over. And I know what apologists are going to say is the fact that the issue is God's sovereignty. Well, he has to be around for God's sovereignty because he challenged God's sovereignty. So therefore, when he brought up all this thing that's going on with humans and sin and loyalty to God, which you look at some religions, it's not about loyalty, it's about fear. It's when it comes down to this whole narrative of love for God, it's really, well, fear. You're gonna be dead, and apologists will say, or destroyed. And apologists will say, well, the only reason you love God by following what he says and doing what he says. But really, love for God is fear of displeasing him. And how many actually, of course you don't want to displease anybody, especially a higher power, if they exist. Of course you don't want to, because that means your life. And the thing is, it should make you a skeptic, because this individual is also going to live another 1,000 years upon the 6,000 years. During the 1,000-year reign, he won't be allowed to influence mankind. But until then, he'll be unleashed. As soon as the 1,000 years is ended, like it says in the book of Revelation, he'll go out to try to mislead the four corners, or whatever, however it goes. I mean, you just think about it. If you're not a skeptic, then you just go along with it, and you may never find out. So once you die, you're dead. There's no other hope for mankind. Could be. I mean, you can't sit there and say, oh, there's going to be a resurrection because the Bible says it. Well, it still hasn't been proven, and maybe it will. But you think about it, humans can't talk to God directly, but God's arch enemy, Satan, can talk to God, and he has, after the action that happened in the Garden of Eden. If that's going to make you a skeptic, I'm sure there has to be some skepticism within even really religious people. Think about 6,000 years of this individual being alive and allowed to be alive. Probably because he's a spirit creature, spirit being. He doesn't have but he's a sinner. He started the sin. So you think about individuals that started the sin die. Why can't the demons and Satan and the devil be dead by now? Let that sink in. Let that ponder. It's something to think about, and it's something to ask yourself. So, thank you very much, and you have a nice day.